Hey everybody, and welcome back to more coverage of Star Citizen. Today we'll be going over a mining guide, so how to mine in the MISC Prospector, as well as how to refine your goods and sell them to the local, wherever you want to sell them, really. Before we get started, and please stick with me here, I just want to make a few very quick and very awesome announcements. First of all, I am now streaming, so thanks to you guys, I've actually worked up the courage to start streaming on Twitch, and I would be so honored if you guys can come and join me on the stream, come and hang out with me, play some games with me, and chat with me, let me know how your day is going. I would love to meet all of you. Please come and see me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I stream at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm usually on for at least a few hours, 2 to 4 hours or so. And it's been a long time coming, and I still get really nervous pressing that go live button, but I'm so happy to do it because of all the amazing support that I've received. So I just wanted to thank you all for that before getting started here. The other thing that you might notice is this video is going to be a little bit different in that there's going to be a little bit less editing, a little bit less finagling with Premiere Pro, and a little bit more of me just being me. And I feel like that's something that you guys have asked for in the past. I had a poll a little ways back, and I asked, do you guys prefer more of like a live approach where I kind of do things on the go, or do you prefer sort of like a very constructed robotic video that's just stitched together afterwards? That's still good, but it might lack a little bit of that character, and everybody seemed to gravitate towards the whole live experience. So I'm doing this a little bit differently. Please let me know in the comments below whether this is something that you enjoy or whether that you like the style of my previous videos. With that, guys, let's get started. Here in Star Citizen, I'm just going to log in, and we are going to go do some mining. Okay, so first things first, we're just waking up here in our cubicle. Gonna get up and get out of here, go grab our prospector, go do some mining, and hopefully make some pretty decent space cheddar. And also, by the way, if you don't know already, if you're playing 3.12, just make sure that before you leave, if you're just spawning in, press F4 to go into this external view and check if you have your helmet on. If it's not on, just put it on, because as soon as you go out, you're just gonna suffocate and it's not gonna be a good day for you. So let's just go ahead and summon, or spawn, summon your prospector. There we go. You can go ahead and just retrieve that. And it should just be a few moments here. Okay, pad number 4, excellent. So just head over to one of the elevators here. Wow, that's really nice. Lights just coming off the ship. I love the way it looks. Okay, ship, come on. There we go. Okay, we're on the ship. Perfect. Good stuff. Get in the cockpit here. And we'll take off. So we'll be going to Ariel. It's pretty close. We're currently on Everest Harbor, so we are very close to Hurston. And Ariel is a moon of Hurston, so it should be relatively close. Let's just initially lift off here. And we'll go ahead and retract the landing gear. And also, if you're in a ship like this that has VTOL, make sure to press K. That will adjust your VTOL thrusters to go forward instead of up and down. And then we're good to go. Very nice. I love these gas clouds. They're really beautiful. Alright, let's get back in the ship, and we'll set a course for Ariel. Press C to enable your auto throttle. You'll see that by the chevron there on your throttle tape. And press F2, double right click, and you'll get the whole map here. We'll double click on Hurston since that's where we're going close to, and we'll double click on Ariel. Alright, there we go, and just pick any of the outposts here. I'm going to go to Bezdek myself. Go ahead and click on set route. If it's not working for you, it might be that you're being blocked, or that the route is being blocked somehow by another planet. So we may have to find another planet just to go travel a little bit in quantum travel just to realign ourselves, and then it should work. So press B to engage your quantum drive, and then you don't have to wait until the quantum drive is over. You can hold B to engage it, and then once it's engaged, you can hold B to disengage it. And then we may be able to set the route again here if we can. If you're double right clicking and you're not getting the map to come up, just go ahead and click on one of these other tabs here. And then tab back over, and you should be able to get the map. Sometimes you might have to do that a couple times. Okay, so there we go. Aerial, and click on Bezdek again. Hopefully it works this time. There we go. So that little jump there to just a random place usually does help the situation. If you find that it still doesn't, you might need to actually go close to the actual planet itself, because you might still be blocked, and then use one of the orbital markers to get yourself around to the other side of the planet. Again, press B to engage quantum, and then once everything is spooled up, to activate quantum drive, you press B, and then to engage it, you hold B once the calibration is done, and once the spooling is complete as well. So this is going to take a little while for us to get here. Shouldn't take too long. We do have a grade A civilian class drive, so it shouldn't take us too long to get there, but it still may take a few minutes. If you want to move around faster, I would definitely recommend going to New Babbage and going to Omega Pro. That's in the Commons area, and there you can buy different kinds of components for your ships, and you can install those components simply by pressing F1 to get into your mobiGlas. Hit the second tab here where it says Vehicle Manager. You want to select the ship on your right hand side, and then all of your ships will be visible here. We're currently in the Prospector. Just keep an eye out for this right here. This is a red padlock. Just means that it's read only. Of course, you can't modify a ship which you're flying. And even if you're not flying the ship has to be landed and docked and stored in the same space station or the same landing zone that you're currently at in order for you to be able to modify any of its things. But here you can change the mining head. I would really recommend to get the Helix mining head. It's one of the best ones in the game. Additionally, it's not recommended, which it's not required, but I would recommend that you get a better quantum drive, and also better systems like a cooler power plant as well as shield generator. It won't be as useful for you in a mining ship, but it definitely can help in certain situations. So we've made it to aerial here. And for some reason I'm not able to see... Well, that's very strange. Oh, there it is. Right. Actually, I think we've just made it to Hurston. This is really strange. So sometimes this will happen. Sometimes you'll be given a route, and then when you get there, you're still obstructed. One way you can clear that is just to go back into the map, clear the route, and redo the route, but sometimes that won't work, again, because if you're obstructed. So we'll have to just find an orbital marker to jump to, and they're usually just on the outskirts of the planet. You'll usually be able to find one. So that's a comma ray. That can work too. Comma rays are usually pretty decent. They can get you to the other side of the planet. As long as they're pretty close, you should be okay. So we'll go ahead and jump to that. And now we should... Oops. I'm just going to turn off the auto throttle for now. And now we should... There we go. Should be able to reset the route. And note that once you've already set the route once, you don't have to set it again. You can just go ahead and click on clear and set route. And that should work just fine for you. Okay, so this is going to take us to another orbital marker. So we're clearly on the wrong side of the planet, and then now on the left-hand side here, we're on the dark side of Hurston. Go ahead and get ourselves over to aerial. Okay, so once you've gotten yourself over to aerial, you'll want to look for the marker for Bezdek or wherever it is that you decided to go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it just wasn't catching for a second. Right, so the final point for quantum travel is going to be the outpost. Now, you're not going to be mining at the outpost, but there are a few important things that the outposts do for you. One of them specifically is just the fact that if you're low on quantum fuel, you'll want to fill up before you leave, especially if you're going on a longer trip. And you'll also be able to repair your ship, so if anything goes wrong with your ship, you can always go back to the outpost and repair it. And you can also get hydrogen fuel as well, which is the kind of fuel that you use in atmosphere most of the time. It's also what your maneuvering thrusters are using, so it's always good to make sure that you have enough hydrogen fuel. And you can see your fuel supplies here in the bottom right hand corner of your display. So you'll see the top display will show you your quantum fuel. We're currently at 98, which is pretty good. And hydrogen fuel also at 98, so also pretty good. One quick trick that you can use here as well is when you're basically quantum traveling to the outpost and you end up in atmosphere, you don't know where the outpost is, you can click on set route again, and what that'll do is it'll actually just show you exactly where the outpost is. So it can be kind of hard to see here, especially at altitude. You'll see your altitude on the left hand side. We're just about 3,500 meters here, so it can be a little hard to see, especially on some planets like Ariel. They're a little bit more difficult, so having this marker really helps out. But for now, what we're going to do, because we have enough fuel, we're just going to go ahead and clear this. So that'll clear the marker there. You won't see it anymore. You do see that there is another player there. And I saw the scan going out earlier, so it's very well possible that we have someone else here who's just mining, taking it easy. So I want to go ahead and slow your max speed down a little bit, so you can use the limiter by using your mouse wheel. And want to slow yourself down, slowly lose altitude, and you don't want to be too close to the outpost. So you want to be at least a few kilometers away from the outpost. And you want to continue to lose altitude, and you want to start leveling off around maybe 500 meters or so. And then we'll start going into scanning mode and start looking for places where we can mine. So we're almost there. And also do recommend that you engage your VTOL thrusters once you're at about 500 meters or so, because if you ever get pulled down by the gravity of the moon, which might happen if you don't pay attention, then you can very quickly get yourself out of trouble by just hitting your spacebar. So for example here, we're losing altitude quite quickly, but I've changed VTOL mode, and now I hit space and I'm on my way up. And you can see that by the inertia indicator here. Okay, so just looking here, where we don't even have to scan, I've noticed that there's a rock here, so we're going to go ahead and get a little bit closer. I want to remove my limiter a little bit further down, so we can limit our speed. Alright, and that does look like a pretty big rock, so that could be interesting. So the way that you find out what rock it is you want to go into scanning mode. So you hit your tab button. I'm just going to back up a little bit here and get a little bit lower. There we go. Okay, so you hit your tab button. Now you can do a full scan by holding the right mouse button, releasing it, and then that'll release this wave, and it'll show you, or you'll see there that we saw that there was a big box. Once you get a little closer to that, those boxes can get a little smaller, and it'll show you where collections of rocks just like this one are. You can also hold Z to look around while you're in your ship, so that's a really useful feature, especially in a ship like the Prospector. You'll notice that this is very open canopy here, so it's very easy to see. But we're just going to focus on this rock for now. And the other way that you can scan is you can just get a little closer to the rock here, and you can hold the left mouse button, and you'll see that there is a scanning bar that's appearing at the top, and over on the right hand side we have different characteristics of the rock appearing. So we can see here that we have Terranite, so that this is the raw Terranite in the rock. This is the concentration of it. And then we also have some magnesium, and we also have some tungsten and aluminum and some diamonds. So this is actually a pretty decent rock. So what we're going to go ahead and do is just start to mine. So you want to press M, and that's going to bring out your mining laser. And again, you want to make sure that you have your new mining head equipped. So you can go to any place like, I believe the shop, I believe it's the weapons or the armor shop at Port Olisar sells these heads. That's where I got mine. So you can go ahead and buy one there. If you can afford the Helix head, I would recommend you do that. And then you can just go ahead and equip it the same way that you equip anything else using the equipment manager for the vehicle loadout manager here. So just select your ship, Prospector, and then when you click this, you should see a list of all the different mining heads that you have here. You just click on the one that you want to use, and then you click on the button down here to save your changes. Make sure that any of the orange triangles here, the exclamation marks that appear after you've made the change and click the button, disappear before you press F1 or before you get out of there, out of that menu, because otherwise it won't save and you'll have to go do it again. Okay, so let's get to mining. Now, some of these rocks are quite large and you will need a heavy-duty mining head like this one, and other times the rocks will be so big that you'll need to be in a bigger ship like a mole, which you can utilize 3 or 4 different lasers and basically a multi-crew in order to be able to mine those large rocks. But there is a little secret to mining large rocks. First of all, what you can do is if you want to engage your mining laser, you can press the button and just let it go and it'll engage the mining laser, or you can hold left mouse button So I'm just going to go ahead and enable it, and then you can mouse wheel up. And as you mouse wheel up, it's going to increase the intensity of the laser. And your whole idea is that you want to raise the power of the laser all the way up, and you see that this is sort of the safe area, and you want to keep it here. So this is a good rock. So this little area here is it's very small, so it's going to be quite difficult to do. And also we're kind of having some trouble, and I'll show you in a minute how you can maybe increase the rate at which this goes up. You don't want to be up here for any length of time. So basically what happens is when you are in any one of these shaded areas, either the red or the green area, it'll start filling up basically from the outside in, okay? And then when it gets all the way into the inside, when it completely fills up, if it's on the red, it's going to make the rock explode, and it's very, very likely that, especially with some more volatile minerals and metals, it's going to blow up such that it's actually going to damage or blow up your ship. And if you're in the green, it'll crack the rock and it'll open it up, and you'll be able to either mine smaller portions of the rock that's opened, or you'll be able to harvest them right away. So you definitely always want to keep it here. It's better to be safe than sorry, and always just release your mining laser instead of trying to turn it down if you think that you're going to go over. Okay, so we're getting a little closer. Now, the best way to increase this, once you're already at 100%, is simply just to get a little bit closer, and you might find that that might work. You don't want to get too close, and this is also a risk, because if you get too close, then if the rock explodes, it'll just do that much more damage to your ship. So it looks like this rock is a little bit too big for me to mine on my own. And you can tell that by going to the mass, and you can see here that it's almost 7,000 up here. So you usually want to stick to something around 4,000. I think I got up to about 4,800 on a Prospector. And so this is something that you want to make sure that you do before you actually start mining, so that you know that you won't be able to mine that particular resource. So what we're going to do is just keep on moving. Increase the speed limiter. I'm going to go back into here, and I'm just going to do a quick scan. And I remember I saw something around here. There we go. So these smaller boxes indicate that it's likely that there's smaller rocks here, so we should be able to mine some of these. Okay, and as we get a little closer, we might start seeing rocks appear on the ground. If we don't, just do another scan. Okay, there we go. Just getting closer and closer. All right, and so when you see these little icons here, let me just turn this around. Okay. Those little icons there, those are very small rocks. Those are for hand mining, so those are far too small for us to mine. So we'll need to go and find something different. Also, the size of the box generally determines how big the rocks will be. But sometimes if you're just flying over, you can just sight them just without having to use the scanner. They'll just appear on your HUD. These ones look quite large. I'm not sure we're going to be able to mine these, but let's have a look. Go ahead and scan that one. Okay, so the mass on that one's not too bad, 4433, so we should be able to mine it. Unfortunately, it's Bexelite, which is not a particularly decent composition there, and the other ones are not that good either, so we'll just go ahead and skip that one. We'll see what this one's made of. Okay, that's Bexelite as well, with some quartz. So these are pretty low yield, low value minerals here. So let's see if we can get the last one. Otherwise, we'll move on. We'll find something else. All right, that's Bexelite again, and quartz and tungsten. So not particularly useful. I'm gonna go ahead and run the scan again and see if we can find something different. Okay, so the mass is a little big. We have gold, titanium, and tungsten. So that could be good. It is a little bit smaller, but it's still quite large. So we'll see if we can get to it. We might be able to. We'll take out the mining head here, and we'll get to work. All right, we're getting there. So this one should be okay. It might still be a little bit too big. I'm going to get a little closer to see if we can get the laser a little bit more concentrated. And we're almost there. I think we might be able to get this one. All right, there we go. So once you're in the green, you want to start backing off on the laser because it might spike. And if it spikes into the red, it might be quite dangerous. This is actually a little bit easier because it did take us quite a while to get up into the green zone. So, and the green zone is quite large as well. So we do have a little bit of space to work with. We're going to keep just going backwards, and there we go. And I get hit by those rocks. Okay, perfect. So we've broken up some rocks, and now what? Well, you'll notice that some of these rocks have different outlines on them. So these ones, they're still quite large, and they have gold outlines on them. Okay, gold means that you need to continue to mine them in order for them to break up into smaller rocks. If they have a purple outline, then you can change your turret or your mining laser into extraction mode, as you can see here. Okay, and you can do that with your right mouse button. And what that's going to allow you to do is to extract the minerals from the rock. But if they're still this big and they still have the orange outline, as this one here does, as you can see there, then you'll need to press the right mouse button, go back into mining mode, and continue to mine it until it explodes into smaller rocks. So just go ahead and start doing that now. These ones should be a little bit easier to do because they're quite a bit smaller, but given the composition, they also have a nice big green zone. And if you feel like you're moving too quickly, there's nothing wrong with just pressing the left mouse button and letting go of the laser altogether. It will start falling on its own very slowly, but it's a better way to not risk having the rock blow up on you. So especially when you're getting into Quantanium, it's a very, very unstable rock and you have to be really careful. I actually had an entire mole, which was a multi-crew mining ship, blow up because we weren't careful with the way that we were mining the Quantanium. So be very careful there. As you can see, once you've broken it up, you'll see that purple outline. Just go ahead and use your extractor mode, and you'll see that we're picking up all of these minerals. And you'll also see that over here on the right-hand side. This is new for 3.12. It's just a gauge to show you how much of your cargo hold is being taken up by materials. And you want to make sure that you have as much of the high concentration of materials as you can have. Wow, I think someone just flew over us. Because you obviously want to make as much money as possible. So if you have any materials that aren't refinable, then you might find that you're not making as much money. So just always look for sometimes it's worth it to look for better materials, for better rocks with better minerals in them. And once you have your cargo full, we're going to go ahead and refine them at one of the new refinery docks. Now we should be getting a message. There we go, right there at the bottom. Warning, cargo full. So we've gotten everything we could possibly carry. I'm going to go ahead and put the mining tool away. And then we'll just go ahead and change from the regular VTOL mode into regular flight mode by pressing K. And we'll go ahead and get out of here and start to refine our ore. So in order to be able to refine ore, you need to take it to one of the refinery complexes available in Stanton, and most of them are located at the L1 stations in the gas clouds in Hurston, so near any of the major planets. So like Crusader will have an L1, or Hurston will have an L1, and I'll show you exactly how to find it. And they're usually really close to the planets themselves. So as you can see here, there's HUR L1, that's Hurston L1. And for Crusader, there's also Crew L1, which is right there. And they're usually really close to the planets. So we're in the Hurston area here. So we'll be going to Hurston L1. So we'll zoom in a little bit. And you can see we're not too far away there. We'll just go ahead and set the route. And we're good to go. Look at that smooth landing. Beautiful. Okay, so we can turn our engines off with I, our power off with U, and press and hold Y to get out of the seats. Okay, we'll step out of the ship here, and just want to make sure that your helmet is on. Press F4 again to double check that. And then you can go ahead and get out of the ship. Okay, so now that we have the ship here, we're going to go ahead and head for the refinery. So just call the elevator here. Okay, that didn't take too long. So we finally arrived here, and now we just need to make our way towards the refinery. So you'll want to click on this, get into this elevator, and then you'll want to choose the refinery right at the bottom. Okay, so here we are on the refinery deck. You'll want to follow the sign where it says refinery, and then just take everything in. Now, I've been here only once before, but it's still pretty amazing to see what they've done with this place. It's really, really nice. It looks really cool. All these furnaces everywhere, and yes, you can actually fall into one of those. Just be very careful. You want to head over to where it says service. And then just go ahead and head upstairs here. And you want to go into the room where it says refinement processing. So you can sell your ore here. So we can see if we were to sell all the ore that we have, just go ahead and click this button here to have the drop down menu come down. Pick the Prospector, the ship that we have. And we can see here that if we were to sell all the ore that we have on the ship, it would give us 1,558 UEC. Doesn't seem like a lot of money for the effort that we just did, and that's because this is just the raw ore. So we would actually be getting quite a bit more money if we were to process that ore, and you can do so here under the refinement processing terminals. So go ahead and press F here, or you can hold F and press the left mouse button. You'll get a message like this. You can go ahead and pause the video here if you'd like to read it, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on begin. Because I already know what I want, I'm just going to go ahead and select the ship over here and go ahead and click here. Then you'll want to make sure that you enable each of the ores that you want. And just note that there are quite a few inert materials. Make sure that you try to avoid these as much as you can because you will not be able to refine them and they'll be pretty much useless. With the process, some of these processes take less time and cost more money, or take more time but cost less money, and some of them have different yields, but I'm going to go with the one on the bottom here. And then go ahead and click Get Quote. And you'll see that this is going to take 16 hours and cost 1,481 credits, but it's also going to refine the ore, making it much more valuable. So just go ahead and click on Confirm. And this is going to take a little bit of time to process. And once it's done processing, then you'll see that you have 16 hours and 54 minutes left. And at any time in the process, you can also just go ahead and select the ship where you would like to store this, and then click the stop and collect button. We're going to make sure that we wait the entire period of time so that we get all of these materials processed for us, and we'll get the most value out of it. So that's it, guys. I hope you found the video helpful. As always, please drop me a like if you found it helpful and it was enjoyable for you. Do subscribe, it's completely free, and make sure to ring the bell so that you never miss videos in the future. And if you want to come on, hang out with me live on Twitch, I do stream now Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Twitch TV, so make sure to come and see me. I'm SSP_gaming. I'd be happy to see you there, chat with you, and play some games with you. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you on stream, hopefully. If you have any of your own tips, make sure to leave those in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.